Congratulations on the documentary for thinking about doing this and going back once the issue is sort of cold. So people got to get a clear-eyed look at it. And all the participants, I think the women were fantastic, the girls, the clarity, the honesty, and the emotion they kind of brought to what they were saying. And they were able to kind of process their feelings and see it for what it is. So that was really heartening to see them and to see how they care about, education and the fact of just having been deprived from exams or the ignominy of being made to strip on the main road. So I think all of those things were kind of brought out very calmly without any kind of grandstanding from you as an anchor. You could have just put in a lot of your own stuff, but I think you chose not to do that. But in the way you fitted in all the people you spoke to a variety of people as well. So it was so good to hear from the person who doesn't see any conflict between wearing a kaleva, not violating this, but they're all out to protect choices of Muslim girls, which they want to kind of put out. So I'll just very briefly tell you what I feel. I think this whole issue, for all the black and whiteness, I think it's a very fairly clear issue because of the context in which it's happening. So, this whole garb, I think two main garbs. One is, of course, a fake lecite, a fake sense that we're kind of moving to some French secular world where shed all your religious garb and then come in, we won't allow the cross, we won't allow the hijab. But that's not true as we know it is, because people are so blind to things that are being worn across other communities. It's clearly an attack on girls as Muslims who are choosing to exhibit a facet of what they see as Islamic practice or what they are comfortable about. So I think that is quite duplicitous. It has been the way, that has been bandied about, that this is secularism to make them follow the uniform. And number two, I think, is also the misuse of the idea of feminism, of kind of clouding it in a really mansplaining way to jump into lives of people and tell them that this is not okay. So, of course, I have my opinion on the hijab. I don't wear a hijab. I've never worn it. I would not advocate to anybody to wear it. But by the same logic, I would not advocate to anybody to not wear a hijab or jeans or a sari because, it shows the midriff. I could have my position on various clothing, garments that people wear, but it's not for me to judge that. So I have the same position on the hijab too, that I cannot judge that. But I think third, and which is why this whole thing is like really devious, the way this has gone on, by actually speaking of a uniform, because I think this is a bigger sign of trying to push everything down a majoritarian definition of the mainstream, of the uniform as being something that everybody needs to subscribe to, but that is very clearly circumscribed, that is circumscribed in order to almost make clothes, rituals, or ways of living of one community become the standard, the gold standard, and everything else will be measured against it. So I think it's like really awful. And I think the last point that I want to make here is that there's been, in the triple talaq case, as we see, the whole idea of rescuing the Muslim woman from the Muslim male. So the whole idea that, Islam is oppressive and that it allows for three religions and women have no freedom, that is being blown to, it's been blown to smithereens anyway. And it particularly is when Mikhat Zareen goes and gets a gold, or Sania Mirza is on stage. So I think the whole attack on women, Muslim women who wear a hijab, is to kind of rescue you from your religion, to rescue you from your religious mates who will not allow you liberation. And the fact that it's happening at a time when Muslim women, as are other girls in India, have been going through a bump. You yourself kind of showed the gross enrollment ratios have been on the rise. And to do this at a time after the pandemic, when all of that has been hit. So it's at many levels, it's part of a much larger context plan of getting something in play which can have horrendous consequences. And I think the thing that really moved me most in the documentary, which disturbed me the most too, was the girls describing their schoolmates and their classmates' responses. I think for me, that was like really disturbing, about others happily jumping on the hate bandwagon, more than saffron-clad students outside, regular students wanting them to just do it. Just take your hijab off and come.